Hello everybody and welcome back to Watch World, and today we are going to be reviewing the Luminox Colormark Series 3150. So welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is keeping well. In front of me here is the Luminox Colormark Series 3150, a great tough everyday watch, and we are going to be looking at the pros and cons of this timepiece. But before we start, about 7 months ago I made a video reviewing the Seiko King Turtle, saying it is the best everyday watch you can buy under €500. And while this Luminox retails just ever so slightly above €500, I still think it gives the Seiko a run for its money as the best everyday watch. So let's start off, as usual, with the dimensions. So this is a 44mm watch in case diameter, 48mm including the crown. We've got an inner lug width of 22mm, a lug to lug of 48mm, and a thickness of 12mm. So nice dimensions all around. Maybe the case diameter is a bit big for the small wristed, but in terms of thickness and lug to lug, it is absolutely perfect for most wrists. The case and bracelet are both made of stainless steel. The bracelet also has a fold over clasp, and we have an engraved case back, which you can see there. We also have 200 meters of water resistance, a 3 o'clock date function, and mineral crystal in front of the dial. The mineral crystal is more prone to scratches than sapphire crystal, but is also more shatterproof than sapphire. So that can be a pro or a con depending on your own personal preference. Inside the watch is a Swiss-made Ronda quartz movement. If you're using this watch for its intended purpose as a tool watch and a watch that you're going to face into the elements with and knock it about, then a quartz movement is probably a better way to go than a mechanical movement. With a quartz movement there is less parts, so also less chance of something going wrong inside the case. One thing I love about this watch is the high contrast between the blazing white hands and numerals against the black dial. It really makes it easier to read the time no matter what kind of light conditions you are in, and also makes it easier to read at a glance, especially as the dial is particularly clean. It's not cluttered up with functions like a chronograph, for example. The lume on this watch is very interesting. We have lume on the hands and hour markers outside the numerals, and it doesn't shine the brightest, but my god does it shine for a long time. I'll put this watch on my nightstand when I'm going to bed and could wake up 6 or 7 hours later and the lume is still going well enough on this thing to read the time. I think that's the whole idea of this lume. It does not shine very bright but will shine for a very long time, which is kind of cool too. So moving into specific pros, there are a lot with this watch for me. The bezel is the main pro. We have a 60-click unidirectional bezel which has absolutely zero backplay, and when I say zero backplay, I mean zero backplay. For a watch in this price range, I honestly think it has the best bezel I've ever seen when it comes to backplay. It just does not budge at all. The only downside to the bezel is that it's not 120 click instead of 60, but that's insignificant when compared to how good the backplay is. The high legibility of the numerals and dial is another pro, as I mentioned above, and we also have a screw down crown, which is another pro as it helps feel that little bit more secure when it comes to the water resistance. And the last main pro for me is the design. It's a cool looking watch, military style, so it looks like a watch that is ready for action. Moving on to the cons, and there are some, the first being no drilled lugs. Given that this is a tool watch, drilled lugs would have made perfect sense, if needing to change out the strap or something like that. I think that was a big opportunity missed here from Luminox, if you ask me. Now I know I said it was a pro or con based on personal preference, but for me I would have preferred sapphire crystal instead of mineral. I scratch a crystal a lot more than I would shatter it, so for me personally sapphire would have been better. And then lastly, also the clasp isn't the greatest in my opinion. It's strong and secure, but opening it can feel like it's going to break your finger off. It can be that tough sometimes. Maybe that's just a fault with the watch I have in front of me, but I can only review what I have in front of me. And here we have what the watch looks like on the wrist. Now, as long-time viewers of the channel will know, I have a 7-inch wrist. This is a 44mm watch with a 12mm thickness and a 48mm lug-to-lug. So while it is quite big in terms of case diameters, the lug-to-lug for me is absolutely perfect, and the thickness is perfectly fine too at 12mm. For an everyday watch, which this watch is most likely to be for most people, 12mm thickness is absolutely perfect. So yeah, comfortable. The bracelet is comfortable. As I said, the clasp can be a downside, that it can be quite stiff to open, but in terms of the feel, the bracelet feels very comfortable. No issues there at all with that. So again, if you have a smaller wrist, maybe the 44mm might be a bit too big, but if you're same as me, around a 7-inch wrist, this watch the specs are absolutely perfect. So there we have it, guys, a look at the Luminox Colormark 3150 series. I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. If you do, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel out a lot. And I will see you again very soon. Until then, take care for now, guys.